In your regression, were you John of old or John of new? Hey guys, it's John here. I am excited to talk about this because I get this question a lot, and this is about my regression, and actually there are a couple other questions in here, so I'm going to just read this whole thing. I believe this comes from my friend Joe. So let me just read the whole question, and I'll dive into it. Okay. Hi, John. At the first of your regression, were you talking to Jeshua as John Davis or as John the Beloved? Or did you recognize yourself being the observer through the Beloved? Were you both yourself and the Beloved? Did you know you were in a regression? As the Beloved, did you know who he was before he touched you? Did you converse with others? Did you tell your family goodbye? What did your family have to say? Were they amazed? Have you thought about going back and getting more of the story? It's torture for the rest of us not knowing more. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Well, my friend, let me just first of all say, let go of the past. It doesn't matter who I was or anybody was in the past. It only matters what you're doing in the here and now. That's the best lesson I can tell you on all of this. But let me answer your question so that you're not tortured any longer. First thing you asked is, was I talking to him as John Davis or John the Beloved? My experience was very, very interesting. I felt like I was physically there as John the Beloved, and it was the thoughts in my head was the conversation I was having with my regressionist. So, you know how when you're walking through life and you're thinking things and those thoughts are popping into your head and you're experiencing but there's still a conversation going on in your head that's separate from the conversation you might be having outside. So the thoughts in my head were the regression and the regressionist in Virginia Beach. And the physical world was being in the physical body of John and feeling what John was feeling. So, yes, I knew I was in a regression, but yes, I did not know I was in a regression. I knew that I was watching this whole story and experiencing this whole story because I could smell the air, I could feel the wind, I could feel the rocks under my feet, I could feel the coarseness of the nets in my hands, which was very interesting. The next thing you ask is, as the Beloved, did you know who he was before he touched you? I knew he was who he was, absolutely, but not in the form of him being a Messiah or anything of that nature. I knew he was a famous spiritual teacher. And when my regression started, and this answers one of your other questions, did I converse with others? I was having a conversation with Zebedee, John's father, and there's a whole thing about language because I couldn't understand him at first, and the regressionist shifted something that made me understand the language of Aramaic, which was, I basically just started translating into English so I could understand it. We were discussing how to move fish from the shore up to the market because something was wrong with our method of conveyance to get it there. So we were trying to figure out how to get the motions there, and we were talking about carrying it on our backs and all kinds of things. And we were talking about, he couldn't do the work anymore because his back was bad. And yeah, there was a bunch of conversation there. And then I started seeing people running down the beach. She took me to the next most important moment, and people were running down the beach. Why were they running? They were running because Jeshua was there. The rock star had arrived. The spiritual rock star was on the beach. And I go down to go in there, and I push my way into the crowd. And when I see him, the first thing you hear me say is, "It's him. It's him." John of old knew who he was and knew that he was coming. And when saw him, not only knew it was him, but could feel his presence. And you could literally feel the love emanating from the man, the joy. And he smiled, and he walked over and he touched John on the chest, and that's when you hear the story about me leaving the body. But he had, he was famous, and he was becoming very well known, and that's what scared the Romans. because this guy was becoming so well known that people were starting to follow him, and they thought they were going to create an army and try to overthrow Rome, which is what the Essenes tried to do. Did you converse with others? I did. Just explain that. Did you tell your family goodbye? I have no memory of telling my family goodbye. I'm assuming he did. But the last memory I have on that beach was seeing Jeshua walk away and then saying, I have to be with him. He gave me a glimpse of everything, and now I have to be with him. So I have no memory of saying goodbye or what the family had to say. And I know James did the same thing. James left as well. So John and James were known as the sons of thunder because they were hot-headed. Were they amazed? I have no idea. Have you thought about going back and getting more of the story? I've had various memories resurfacing, and there's a certain percentage of people who get regressed who have an ongoing experience, and so I'm one of those people. And what happens is somebody will say something, and I'll get another glimpse of it, and I'll get another story of it. And so my regression has really been ongoing since '99, but only in small pieces or glimpses. And quite honestly, I don't feel the need to go back to get more, because if I went back to get more, I'd be living in the past, and I'm not. And I don't. I'm John Davis. I'm not John of old. I live in the here and now, and all the teachings are here and now. Everything about the teachings are here and now. And if I were to spend my time focusing on who I was, it would be a waste of my time and yours, honestly, because there's nothing else back there that needs to be said. All the teachings are on my channel right now, but people want more because they're trying to wrap their head around it. And in reality, you shouldn't even think about the past stuff, and think about what is the teaching, what is the thing that's, you are divine, your experience is your belief. You can love or you can fear, right? And the more loving and fearless you are, the closer you are to your oneness with God, and the more experiences spiritually you'll have, because the vibration of love is God, and no fear can exist in pure love. So you have to strip away the fear to come back to the source of God. And so the reality of it is focusing on the past and making sure you get all the information and get it right and all that. That's actually the fear of not getting it right. So you're actually living in the fear element of it. And the fact that you say it's torture for the rest of us not knowing more, torture's your choice, right? I live a joyful, loving life. I feel no need to go back and get more, because I don't feel the need to go back and get more, because I love my life. I love what I'm doing, and I'm creating that into my experience, and only you can create that into yours. And you can create torture into yours just by believing I am torture. It's torture. It's torture for the rest of us not knowing more. I don't live a life of torture. Let go of it. Be in the now. Live loving. That's the teaching. And so that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. The John of New channel is solely funded by your generous donations and purchases of private readings and merchandise. To help out, go to johnofnew.com or use the donation link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.